think there's something so unique about the LGBTQ community has become this cult, and it's so captivating, and it pulls people in so strongly, unlike anything we've ever seen. And they brainwash people to join, and they convince them of all of these things. And it's really, really hard to get out of it. It's really difficult. And there are studies on this. Like there's been a lot of reporting on this about people, parents who are like, my child is starting to say, that they're non-binary or transgender or whatever. And what do I do? How do I stop this? The simplest answer is like, they're just evil. They're bad people. They're just evil people. And they want to groom kids.
Yeah.
They're recruiting.
That severely inarticulate woman right there spewing disgusting rhetoric about the LGBTQ community is the formerly anonymous face behind the Libs of TikTok Twitter account. And of course, she had to make her bigoted debut on none other than Tucker Carlson's White Nationalist Power Hour show. And here is some more of the bigoted BS that she said on his show.
We've gotten about a dozen teachers fired. We're talking about bad teachers who are grooming kids. We've gotten a handful of drag shows canceled. I know, like, DeSantis's team told me that the content that I found helped with the parental rights and education bill. It helped inspire that.
And just so everyone knows, when she says the parental rights and education bill, she's talking about the Don't Say Gay bill out of Florida. And let's get into some more information about Chaya Raichik. From Fox News, the identity behind the viral Twitter account Libs of TikTok was revealed on Tuesday's Tucker Carlson Today, putting a face to the formerly anonymous creator Jayar Jackson, whose profile has caused a stir among left-wing ideologies while raising awareness about the goings-on inside America's classrooms for some time. So she gave this reason for keeping her anonymous persona. When my account started growing, I realized the hatred that the left has and their violent nature. And I was like, I am going to remain anonymous. And I have remained anonymous until my account was doxxed. God, this woman is just not, she's just so inarticulate. But the doxing that she's referring to is when Washington Post reporter Taylor Lorenz exposed her identity online and appeared outside of one of Raichik's relatives' homes earlier this year. So here is the tweet that she put up. Hi, Taylor Lorenz, which of my relatives did you enjoy harassing the most at their homes yesterday? So Lorenz defended her decision to reveal the woman's identity, tweeting reporters make phone calls, send messages, show up places, and knock on doors when reporting out a story. Lorenz added, I reported the story out extensively using every tool I had to ensure I had the correct woman, which is exactly what you should be doing as a journalist. And Lorenz took all the right steps. And of course, when she's writing this expose sort of about Chaya Raichik, she wants to ensure that she's found the right woman, so she's not accidentally sending, hate towards an innocent person who isn't spreading bigoted, fear and misrepresenting the actions of the queer community and calling us pedophiles. Because honestly, a lot of people did have a lot to say to Chaya Raichik after this article and wanted her to answer for the things that she's done. So it was important that Taylor Lorenz found the right person. New York Post reported that in response to criticism that she targeted a private citizen who wished to remain anonymous, Lorenz tweeted that the social media user isn't just some average woman with a social media account, but is instead a powerful influencer operating a massively impactful right-wing media shaping discourse around LGBTQ plus rights. And she was exactly right about that. So all she did was expose her name, and Raichik started and is continuing a public smear campaign against her. So take a look at this.
Sent a reporter after, like literally after you. Her name is what, and she did what? If you could fill in those blanks.
So her name is Taylor Lorenz, also known as Tay Tay.
Tay Tay.
Tay Tay, that's her name.
And who calls her that?
So I call her that, and I made it up. And my goal is that people start referring to her as that, and it's catching on. I saw it printed. I forget which news outlet printed it, like Tay Tay, and I was like, oh my God, like this is my dream.
Because you understand something that most conservatives don't, which is when you control the language, you control the conversation.
I'm sorry, is this woman in high school? What is this? And I do want to add that Taylor Lorenz said on Twitter that Chaya Raichik didn't make up Tay Tay. She apparently during her investigations into Taylor Lorenz saw that her ex-boyfriend used that nickname for her and then started to use that for Taylor, which is just, another layer on the bizarre, almost romantic fixation that Chaya Raichik has with Taylor Lorenz, even saying that she would go on a date with her. I mean, it's for someone who hates LGBTQ plus people, she seems very deeply invested in Taylor Lorenz. So Raichik also went on to discuss the mass amount of GOP support she got after her doxing. So let's watch this.
I will say this, when I was doxed, someone from Ron DeSantis's team called me.
Really?
Yes, and she said, the governor wanted me to give you a message. He said, if you don't feel safe, or you or your family, if you need a place to go, to hide, to stay, you can come to the governor's mansion.
What?
He said, we have a guest house for you, and you can come and stay as long as you need.
The governor of Florida did.
Yes, I can't even, I was almost in tears. Like, the governor of Florida, like he has nothing but like.
And you're living in
to
California.
deal with. I'm living in California, and he took time out of his, I'm assuming, extremely busy schedule.
You'd think.
Marjorie Taylor Greene called me.
Really?
And she's like, I'm just seeing what you're going through, and I wanted to make sure you have my full support, and I support everything you're doing. And she's like, if you need anything, call me. You have my number. She took it was a solid half hour out of her day to call me the day I was doxxed and just be like, you're incredible, you're so brave, stay strong. That meant so much to me.
All right, well, Ron DeSantis and Marjorie Taylor Greene are not the only powerful people who have Chaya Raichik's back. She also apparently has the support of the Twitter CEO himself, Elon Musk. So let's pull up this. So Elon Musk likes are public on Twitter, and he publicly liked one of Libs of TikTok's posts that was a defense of what she does and her harassment. So, God, I mean, it's so ridiculous, but she thinks it'll be more effective to push back against the left if she wasn't anonymous anymore. Jessica, do you have any thoughts before we go further into this story? There's one more thing I want to talk about that's very funny, but just what are your thoughts so far?
All right, this is an insane person to me, but yeah, if I dressed like it was still 2011, I wouldn't want to show my face in public either. That's got to be really difficult. And here's the thing about the TikTok account: you've been showing the faces of people and directing hatred towards them for a very long time. And then you're talking about people doxing you like it's the worst thing to ever happen in the entire world. Like, you've been showing people doing their job in their classrooms, teachers, people in public places, showing their faces and showing parts of their lives and directing hatred towards them because they have pride flags in their classroom. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that people who are teaching inclusivity, who are members of the LGBTQ plus community, who are allies of the community, and then to say it's like a cult, like once you get sucked in, you can never leave. No, it's like, once you come out as gay, you cannot uncome out as gay. Like, that's not how it works. It's not a club. And it's crazy that conservatives in America, who are so encapsulated by white Christianity and white nationalism and having a Christian nationalist state, people like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, for them to call the LGBTQ community a cult is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. And I just can't believe this is a human being behind the Libs of TikTok account. It kind of makes sense that it would be someone who is not strategic about how they're communicating about what happened to them. I like that you keep calling her a fiercely inarticulate woman, because it's true. It's like, if you're gonna direct this much hatred and vitriol at a community and you have no sense of morality, that like you getting doxxed is nothing compared to directing the hatred of an entire political faction in the United States towards the LGBTQ community. And I don't understand Tucker Carlson today being held in like a cabin. It was enough that we had Tucker Carlson at night. Now we have to see him during the daylight hours. And I think it's hilarious that his set is like the Windows Microsoft background with Tucker Carlson today over it in like a fake log cabin. It's like, what is going on, man?
I mean, fortunately, that show is behind a paywall, so only Tucker Carlson super fans are learning about the bigotry of Libs of TikTok, aside from all the times he mentions her on her main show. But I mean, I think you're right. It's so silly for particularly her to call LGBTQ plus people as being in a cult, considering the cult that she is a part of, which I'll get into in a minute. But so why did she choose right now to, come out with her identity, to stop being anonymous? I believe it's because she thought that she could now become a media personality, but I think her appearance on Tucker Carlson has proven that she just doesn't have what it takes to do that. She's not exactly very, motivational when you listen to her. She doesn't inspire anything in you, which is a good thing. But here's why she said she chose to come out with her identity. I never did any in-person events, and I'm choosing to do that now because I feel like over the past few months, I've done so much. I've helped educate people. I know that I've helped create legislation, which is so concerning, to tackle some of these issues. And I think I've done all I can, and I am ready for the next step. She added that while she has already made plans for speaking engagements in the upcoming months, she hopes to become increasingly involved in pushing back against the types of leftists she spotlighted with her account. I can't even imagine how horrifying those speaking engagements will be, considering how bad she is at public speaking. But one more thing I want to talk about, and then I'll throw it to you, Jessica. Less than an hour after her interview with Tucker Carlson, footage emerged showing Chaya photographed right here at the January 6th Capitol riot. Can we pull that up? It's so fantastic. It's so fantastic how quickly they found her, and a lot of her fans are coping and saying that it's not her. But in the picture, there it is. Thank you. She's wearing the same ring at the Capitol riot that she was wearing in her interview with Tucker Carlson. So of course she looks different when she doesn't have a team of makeup artists getting her Tucker Carlson ready. But that is confirmed to be her, which is just awesome. Jessica, do you think maybe that's the reason why she was remaining anonymous?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe that would be a reason to not show your face in public ever again, given facial recognition technology. And that makes it all the more insane that she's talking about violent leftists. Okay, so there's a faction of people, many of them were at January 6th, who are far-right fascists, like open fascists, flying, swastika flags next to their Trump flags at Trump rallies. They're not just the kind of people that have been tricked into a fascist ideology with this idea that it's like a brand of American freedom and pure conservatism. Like, there are people who know very well they are fascists. People at January 6th are that brand of people. They know what they're fighting for. And for her to say that there are violent leftists, when what leftists want to do is get people health care, prevent people from being houseless, prevent people from going hungry, and fight against this kind of fascism that infringes upon people's freedoms and basic rights, that kind of self-defense is not violence. Like, attending January 6th is the aggressive violence in our country. And there was a recent interview I did on The Conversation with Natasha Leonard, who writes a lot about this, about how anti-fascist violence in the United States being labeled as equal extremism on both sides is incredibly dangerous and a recipe for a fascist takeover in the United States. And she kind of represents this two-sidedness of both sides are bad, both sides are extreme, the left is violent. Absolutely not the case.